Hi everyone, how are you doing? So I just wanted to hop on and talk about power dynamics. This is a big theme that has been playing out in the collective and has been coming out in many different ways for my clients, for friends, for family. And so I'm feeling called to speak about this. So what is happening? Now, what is happening is for a long time, certain people in this world, certain people in your life, especially if you are a recovering people pleaser or an empath or someone who is sensitive or neurodivergent, the likelihood is that in your life there has been a power imbalance. And your journey has been, firstly, about giving yourself the thing that you desire. So this might be safety, security, love, belonging, whatever that thing is. So firstly, our journey to this space of power is that realization that everything that we desire is already within us. And when we tap into that thing ourselves and we give us that thing ourselves, we become a vibrational match, and this is what then draws that thing to us. So this is how everything works. This is how I met my soulmate. I was in high levels of self-love, of self-devotion, and I was vibrating at that frequency of high levels of self-love, giving myself quality time, taking myself out on dates, buying myself gifts. And so someone could come in and could meet me and match me on that level. So this is the first thing with these power dynamics, right? You've been going through this space of meeting your needs, giving yourself that thing, loving yourself in the way that you desire to be loved, what your love language is. And then the second thing with these power dynamics is, for a long time, you might not have even realized this, but you didn't have the power, you didn't have the authority, and either you just like were so kind of almost wounded feminine energy, and you were just like, oh, I'm going with the flow, but actually you weren't going with the flow. It was kind of this wounded feminine energy of not like showing up, like taking control, taking that power back. So what is happening right now with these two elements of stepping into providing for ourselves and giving ourselves that thing that we need so that we become a vibrational match. And secondly, in so many different ways, I'm seeing this in so many different ways across the world right now, especially for women, we are taking our power back. Where there has been a power dynamic, where there has been some power over us. Now, this might be in relationships, this might be from, family members, this might, it might be that when you were younger, your sibling always had power over you and bullied you, or the kids at school bullied you. I was bullied as a child. And these experiences of this imbalance of power, of course, cause all sorts of like beliefs and energies in our systems that need to be cleared. But what is happening right now in this shift is that women in particular, but across the world, everybody, we are taking our power back. So we're learning to fully love ourselves, and we're not talking about bubble baths. Don't get me wrong, I love a bubble bath. Bubble baths and self-care activities. We're not talking about that necessarily. We're talking about levels of self-devotion. And those levels of self-devotion also include our boundaries. One of the best ways that we can love ourselves and deliver on our needs is by having boundaries. So this was one thing that I came to realize, was that I desired a peaceful life, a quiet life, and a life that felt like a retreat. So a mentor said to me once, I was going away on retreat and I was trying to do a launch at the same time, and I was like, I need to get this launch all sorted because then I'm going away on retreat. And she said, well, firstly, why couldn't you just launch while you're on retreat and just like automate everything? But secondly, what if your life was a retreat? What if you didn't need to like go on these retreats all the time to run away from your life? What if you designed your life to be a retreat? And this is what I see self-devotion as. Self-love and reclaiming our power is that self-devotion to be in that energy of, what if my life was like a retreat? Now, this kind of becomes just habitual and automatic as we're just flowing in this like joyful, nourished state. But by having that intention and by like intentionally going, right, I am going to make my life like a retreat, by setting that intention, I was more intentional about it, and then it became a habit. And now it is like a really simple, easy habit for me, which did involve a balance of masculine and feminine energetics, right? Because the feminine side needed to have the flow, the nourishment, the creativity, but it needed the masculine side to provide those structures, containers to hold her in those spaces. So by being intentional about what would it be like if my life was a retreat, what is it that I desire? And this is the key bit, right? Desire rather than need. So trust me, I have been there in the past of need. I need peace. I need to go on retreat. I'm overwhelmed. I'm burnt out and I'm frustrated and I'm constantly like pushing out into the world and doing all these things and then getting burned out and having to pull back. Like this push-pull is the biggest thing I see holding women back. It's like inconsistent roller coaster energy. But when we have the boundaries in place, when we have those divine masculine structures in place to enable our flow, we just have like more consistent flow. So yes, we have cycles, we have times in the month, we have energy dips, we have, energy comes in, we need to clear it, like all of that happens, it's all very real. But the best way to navigate that push-pull and to ride those waves and allow them to be smaller waves rather than this dramatic push-pull is through boundaries and is through this self-devotion. And through this self-devotion is how we take our power back. And when we take our power back and we're able to hold that space, be that steady, stable ground, be like the roots of the tree, holding that in place, people feel that. They feel safe in your presence. And they know there's something about you. They know when they come into your world, when they come into your energy, that they shift and they change and they grow. They're shown opportunities for healing and they know that they feel different, right? It's a feeling. It's not something that you can really explain. But it starts with that self-devotion. And right now, what we are seeing in the world is this power imbalance. And we're seeing people like butting heads with each other, right? And that's because there's a power imbalance at play. But rather than people being in this like loving, self-devotional space, the reason they're butting heads, the reason it is becoming explosive, and we see this, like, this isn't just on the world stage, right? We see this on the micro and we see this on the macro. It's happening in both. The reason that we see this happen is a lack of that self-devotion. A lack of that self-devotion. Because if the self-devotion was there, what would be there would be a deep stable, grounded space to be able to hold space for others. And this is the problem, is in these spaces, people can't hold space for others. They can't hold space that everyone has their authentic truth. Everyone has a different expression, whether that is, religion or a spiritual belief or no spiritual belief, or a belief about a family tradition. Like, this could literally be anything. The problem is that people cannot hold others at that truth because they don't have that stable groundedness within themselves to be able to hold that. And that is what is causing this power imbalance. If you are somebody who has, overcome people pleasing, you're an ex-people pleaser like me, you've been in over empathy, you're very sensitive and intuitive and gifted, then what we are finding now is you will be shown ways and places and people where you are not in your power. So what I've been saying for months in the Quantum Queen membership, like literally every week every month we go through the energy updates, like it's becoming more and more and more evident and obvious that the dark can no longer hide. The dark can no longer hide. So this is coming out right now in the collective. So anything, like we've seen this in like the celebrity world, without saying too much, okay? All the stuff that's being outed, all the people that are being outed and, having consequences of their actions right now is all coming out. Those that haven't done the inner work, haven't done the trauma work, they're acting out right now as well. And that we're constantly being shown where there is this power imbalance, but also as you take that power back, what you do is you start to close off the energy drains. Because as you step into your power, you command an energy of respect. And I had this situation, hi Sam, thanks for watching, had this situation where I'd done loads of work and healing around like narcissistic relationships, and I still had, like through another person, I still had this narcissistic connection. And I still had to interact with this person, despite doing all the inner work around that. And this, like in the early days, and when this was like a direct connection, this for me was about coming out of over empathy, again, power dynamics, and stepping into my power and looking at what are those traits, what are those narcissistic traits that these people are mirroring to me. You've heard me talk about this a lot. And how do I embody the gift side of that? So how do I become, so we're back to self-devotion again, which I was talking about at the start of this. How do I become healthy selfish? How do I become healthily demanding, aka ask for help, ask for masculine support, ask for what I need, okay? So I'd done all of that work, and then I was in that space of self-devotion where I was holding it. And with that power of being in that space of self-devotion, therefore able to be really grounded and able to hold others in that space of what is true for them without picking up their energy, without picking up their thoughts and ideas and belief systems, with that came a real like unfuckwithable energy. And there was 18 months where I didn't have to interact with this person at all. Like they had just like vibrated out of my reality when I did the work. And then this situation arose. And I could have really easily, and again, this is the power and authority thing, right? When you love self-development and healing and coaching, it's so easy to go, this must be my fault. What have I done? Do I need to do more shadow work? So it came in and I had the thought, and then I was like, no, this is literally just showing me my power. So the energy that I was in an energy of commanding respect. So when we do this work, when we become that grounded, clear channel, when we can hold that space for everyone's authentic truth, our energy commands respect. So I had this short interaction that I had to have with this person. They apologised to me, which I've never ever seen them do. And they were respectful, they were polite, and I knew that in this situation, because of my self-devotion, that I had taken the power back, and my energy just naturally commanded respect. And I had the same thing happen on social media. So every now and again, I would get a comment, usually from somebody toxically masculine. And when I started to really up this self-devotional energy, that also stopped or became like much less frequent, because I was simply holding that energy of authenticity, which is more high vibrational than anything, more high vibrational than love. And that energy commanded respect. So this is what is happening right now, like on a macro level across the planet and on a micro level within our lives, is that we are taking back our power. And others are feeling that. So if it feels a bit weird, like, and it feels a bit off, and you're having to clear a lot of energy, that is completely normal. Because as with anything, if we've got these energy drains, if we've got people draining our energy, when we cut that off, they're going to feel it. And if they've got a lot of entity attachments, they're going to go crazy, they're going to go wild, and they're going to attempt to try and grab it back. So it is so important to hold that self-devotion, hold your boundaries, hold your power. And a great way to do this is to tune in with your future self. Because I don't know about you, but my future self is so unfuckwithable and powerful. And ask, if I was to show up as that version of me now, what would she do? She would be commanding high levels of respect. She would be in an unfuckwithable energy. And her self-devotion would be like no other. So by asking, like, who is that version of me? Like, I do this daily. Who is that version of me? And how would she show up today? That shifts and changes everything. Okay, so it is self-devotion that leads to balancing out this power imbalance. And after lifetimes, this stuff goes across lifetimes, and the witch wound, which I have to clear like from so many clients and myself, this stuff goes back lifetimes, right? We take that power back. We take that power back, but it starts with self-devotion. So not just I'm burnt out, how do I meet my needs? But what do I desire, and how do I have a towards strategy, moving towards that, and then balancing this masculine and feminine energy. So if this is resonating with you, a few times a year I do a free event, and I am so excited about the next free event. It is happening on the 10th of December at 4 p.m. GMT. There will be a replay if you can't make it live. And we are going to go into this more deeply, and I am going to teach you my bridge method, because right now what we need to be is a bridge. The bridge between the science and spirituality, the bridge between religion and energetics, the bridge between beliefs. Okay, holding our power firm and then being the bridge. And I truly believe, and have so much evidence of this in my life and from my clients, that by blending the neuroscience, the energetics, and the quantum research, like by being that bridge between those methods, this is how we create the life that we desire, and we create the life that our clients desire as well when we do this work with them. This is potent and powerful. So the free event is called Flow, Power and Truth, and I will pop the link in here if you would like to be first in, I think is the phrase. If you would like to be first in. And I'm so excited to be able to do this again, and to be able to gift you a free workshop. And if you have any questions about anything that I have talked about today, just let me know. We have snow in the UK today, so it's all very exciting over here. So I hope you're having a fabulous day, wherever in the world you are, whenever you are watching this. And any questions, let me know. Lots of love.